Hello beautiful people! Today I'll be trying on 3 looks from the Anastasia Soft Glam palette. At the end of the video, I'll also be sharing with you my review of this palette and my thoughts. For this palette, that's how it looks on the inside. They have quite soft colours. They have the colours which is more to the peachy, orangey colour, golden colour, and the dusky pink colours, as well as the deeper colours. So this palette was actually launched in 2018 on Valentine's Day. It's a neutral tone palette, and when it first came out, it was really very popular. It's still quite well loved today as a neutral everyday eyeshadow palette. In fact, just last year, they came out with a second edition of this palette. Instead of having the 14 shades, they have shrunk this into an 8 shade palette. And not all the shades from this palette are in the new palette. In fact, 2 shades from the Novena eyeshadow palette is in the new 8 pan palette for the Soft Glam 2. The Soft Glam 2 came out in September last year. I'm going to start with my 3 looks and then come back at the end of the video to share with you what I think about the palette. So I'm going to try the orangey look on this side, the pinky look on this side. So the thing I noticed about Anastasia eyeshadows is that it is quite pigmented. So I like to dust off a little bit first before I put it on my eye. It also comes with a brush, so I'll try using the brush as well for some parts of the makeup. Now to try on the dusky pink on the other side of the eye. This is just a clean brush and I'm just blending in the color to my lid. I'll use the Anastasia brush and then I'll go ahead and use this dusky pink here. This one I didn't really have to tap it off because it's not as pigmented. Edges. Okay, this one seems a little bit dark actually. There's not much difference, so I'll use this lighter one instead. And for the lower lash line, deepen it up a little bit, closer to my lashes. The warm tone in orange, dusky pinks, so this is how they look together, side by side. So do you have a preference as to which looks better? And then I'm going to do one more look and deepen up the look. This is the third look. Again, I start with this. It's a base for my eyeshadow. A smaller brush. It's a Sigma E21 smudge brush. I like it because it's so small, it's easy for me to get to the precise area that I want to go. Using the small flat shaders, so the application is more precise, especially on the inner corner. But if I want to get a more payout for the color, for the shimmer, then it's actually best to use a finger. Like for the bottom lash line, I use something which is a little bit softer with a shimmer. It's called Glistening. So I'll complete the other eye and show you the finished look shortly. So this is the deepest look on this side here. So my thoughts on this palette is, it is indeed quite a soft neutral colors. The deeper shades make it easy to deepen it up in case you want to use it for the nighttime or have a darker look. What I noticed about Anastasia's formula, it actually takes quite a bit of blending out because it's quite pigmented. For this palette, this shade here is very pigmented, so it's best to actually tap off the brush or wipe off a little bit of the excess on a tissue before applying to the eyelids, because if not, it will be really very white. But for the other shades, I find it not too bad still. You can just to go in lightly with the brush and slowly build up the color. For the shimmers, we have to be careful because they're not very firmly pressed. They're actually quite soft. If we were to put our brush in with too much pressure, then we can actually remove more than what we want from the shimmers itself. So we could, that leads to some wastage of the eyeshadow. As with most shimmers, actually, if we were to use our fingers to apply them, they do appear more vibrant on the eyelids. So it depends on the effect that you want, whether you want to have a softer look or something more vibrant. So the softer look, we use a brush. A good brush to use would be like the flat brush, because this will be able to pack on the shimmers easier, especially if you want to go in more precisely, go into the smaller corners. The brush will be helpful compared to the finger. So for the finger, we can use it maybe more for the middle of the eyelid to add a pop of shine. The brush that comes in the palette, the double-ended brush, is quite handy for laying down the color or to buff out the edges. This is for laying down maybe more on the lid, and this is for buffing out the color or a wider area, a softer look. So this is quite handy, but I still feel that a smaller brush like this is important, especially for hooded eyes or smaller eyes, because we can actually place the color more accurately at the smaller areas, corners, even for the color below the lash line. Did you happen to get this palette yourself, and what do you think about this palette? Or is there any other palette that you do recommend? Please leave it down in the comments, and I look forward to hearing from you. I hope to see you again on the next video. Stay beautiful. Bye!